Welcome back. So world leaders paid a tribute to fallen Ukrainian soldiers who died due to Russia's invasion on the country. The leaders are currently in Kyiv for a summit, laid flowers at a memorial site where flags bearing their names have been placed. Now, today marks the third anniversary, the start of that war. Thousands of troops have been killed from both sides, while millions of people have been forced to flee their homes. And the summit comes a week after U.S. President Donald Trump called Ukrainian leader Volodymyr Zelensky a dictator. And the U.S. failed to send officials to that gathering. Well, now for more on this, we are joined by Myroslava Gongadze, who is Voice of America's Eastern Europe or Europe Bureau Chief. Thank you so much for joining us, Myroslava. A good evening to you. I mean, there's so much to talk about around really the commemorations of this day, 3 years on. President Zelensky also taking to X to really speak about the bravery that has been shown by Ukrainians over the past 3 years. I mean, some of the highlighting moments of those commemorations today.
Main thing, probably, we have to remember what President Zelensky said before the commemoration. He had a big press conference when he said that he is ready to give up his power and his position as a president if Ukraine would receive any guarantees from the Western world for security guarantees. And that was very important note because of the previous statements by President Trump naming and saying that President Zelensky is a dictator. However, President Zelensky and other leaders of Europe who actually came in a big number to Kyiv today, including Prime Minister of Canada, they all organized themselves and clearly taking a leadership in defending Ukraine. Some of the northern countries of Europe are trying to back some of the military battalions and brigades. They are sending more equipment, as well as they are discussing the possibility of sending European forces to Ukraine for the after the peace agreement, if that will happen. And today we know that President Trump, President Macron, French President Macron came to President Trump this week, as well as other Prime Minister of Britain supposed to come to White House to talk about possible peace deal and what Europe is ready to do to support Ukraine. Many experts say that Ukraine today is a shield for Europe, and European countries are really concerned about a future of this conflict, because for them is a big threat, because Ukraine at this point has the biggest army in Europe, defending basically Europe, not only Ukraine. 800,000 troops are 600,000 Ukrainian troops against 800,000 Russian troops, and Europe does not have that much manpower. So European leaders now are waking up to this reality and trying to do whatever they can to support Ukraine in this fight.
Yeah. Then on the other side of this war, Myroslava, is, of course, President Vladimir Putin of Russia. And it seems, I mean, we can talk to me about what you've picked up around some of the activities that he's gotten up to on this day. I see one of them, of course, being a conversation with the Chinese President Xi Jinping.
Yes, President, the question of this peace negotiation is very simple. Is Russia ready to sit down for this peace negotiation and ready to actually uphold peace? Because President Zelensky clearly said he is ready to negotiate. He's ready to set this to settle this conflict. But we know that Ukraine didn't start this war. Russia started this war. So Russia has to make that decision to stop this war, and that the only on the ball is on the Russian side today. And now the President Trump actually today, a few hours ago, maybe even an hour ago, talked about possibility of meeting not just President Putin, but President Zelensky, because President Trump is trying to push this peace negotiation and peace deal. For him, it's very important. He's talking about all the time, talking about this bloody war, and he is trying to sign this special agreement with Ukraine for the minerals, for the rare minerals that Ukraine is holding. So it is possible that maybe already this week, President Zelensky and President Trump will be able to talk.
Yeah, if you'll allow me to emote a little bit, Myroslava, and I know that this may be a little bit difficult, but I'm also keen to hear, certainly your recollection of this day 3 years ago, and if it was anything that we foresaw. I mean, I remember at the beginning of that year, there certainly was global concern about what that year was going to be, and then your view, or perhaps your experience of what you've seen of Ukrainians' lives and how they've changed over the past 3 years.
Absolutely. Thank you for this question, because actually I was in Ukraine, in Kyiv, in January of 2022 with Secretary Blinken, doing the big interview with him when he urged Ukrainians to be prepared for possible Russian aggression. And honestly, even President Zelensky back then, and actually Ukrainians could not believe that this kind of invasion can happen in this age. However, this happened, and I remember that day very clearly because I was in Washington, supposed to fly to Kyiv at that exact day, and obviously I didn't go on that day and went later when invasion already started. I have traveled through Ukraine from east to west, from north to south. I have seen devastation. I have seen people lost their everything what they had, including family members. However, I have seen bravery as well. I have seen resilience. I have seen how people are trying to cope with whatever they have and proceed with their lives in most difficult and most strange circumstances. Ukrainians are not giving up. And that's what I see. And Putin was saying that he will take Ukraine in 3 days. It's been 3 years, and Ukraine is still standing.
Yeah, and I know that you obviously would have spoken to a few people. I'm keen to hear the sort of perspectives that you get. And now I want to get into South Africa's relationship with Ukraine, if you will. Just recently, a few days ago, the president of South Africa, Cyril Ramaphosa, going to X, and I want to just quickly read out this message. He says, "I welcome the constructive engagement I had with President Zelensky, and I look forward to hosting him in South Africa soon for a state visit." I mean, there obviously is the question around South Africa's positioning in this war, a clear understanding that there is this historic relationship between South Africa and Russia. But what you're hearing from pundits and experts around the responsibility that South Africa has in this matter?
I have to say that Global South had a big role could have a big role in this process. And all these 3 years, we saw some kind of division between Western countries and Global South on the topic of peace. Global South, including South Africa, were saying that we want peace. India was saying that. Other countries were saying that. However, they were not ready to actually accept the issue. And we are talking not about the peace just in general. We are talking, Ukrainians are talking about just peace. So those crimes, actually, the Ukrainian General Prosecutor Office is investigating 140,000 war crimes committed by Russian soldiers in Ukraine. So it's astonishing amount. So the question is, it's not about just peace. It's a just peace. It's a just peace. So it has to be some kind of court decision. It has to be proceeding. It has to be, somebody has to answer for this crimes. And obviously, the countries like South Africa is very crucial in support of this just peace agreement.
Yeah. Myroslava, we really do appreciate your time this evening. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Myroslava Gongadze there. She is, of course, a Voice of America's Eastern Europe Bureau Chief, talking to us there.